something that comes from experience. It comes from certain people could do it. I don't believe so. But there's an aspect of things that comes out of the flux of the interpersonal. It's like you have to. If people don't get to a point where they're starting to understand that which they are through the lens of that which others are, then that's where you get in a place where it's like if you over the years if you can't make that conceptual leap and switch, that's where it's like that's where you see 50-year-olds at the bar getting in fights. That's what that shit is because they've gone their whole life and they've failed to understand other people, and they're just operating solely either it's just emotional, man. And this is a lot of those type of people they don't get in contact with that aspect of themselves at all, but it's funny. That's a funny thing. They don't consciously get in touch with it. They don't really analyze it, but they are almost 100% dictated. Their behavior is dictated by emotions, but they wouldn't be able to really take much analysis or take much stock of what they are. Just kind of an irony. The more that you become aware of what your emotional drivers are and what will make you do certain things, what will make you feel certain ways, and what that is like when it comes up, the more you're able to control it. So it's like that is a funny thing, is to see the dichotomy in those who are able to understand themselves versus those who are not. And it really comes down to it's you don't have control if you don't have awareness and understanding. The more that you understand about yourself, the more you can have control over yourself. The more you understand about your emotions, the more you have control of your emotions. And that's the same shit. That's the same stroke. But it's just like, how can you get to that point and not have that sunk in there? That's what I'm saying is like so if we're looking at these people who are going through life and living in a certain way where they're not picking that up over the course of years, it's like, what were you doing? I think a lot of things is like if you've been on both sides of a situation as well, then you are able to fully that's where you're able to understand. Because if you've just been doing one thing and been in one role your whole life, and all you know is the rigidity of that lifestyle, the rigidity of people, dude, a lot of those type of people are fucking scared as shit of anything that they don't know. Dude, that there's something interesting about life where it's like people, the most aggressive people, you know, the most unable to not fit in, but I guess to be able to control themselves or just be able to deal with the world in a way that isn't so refractory and so reactive on that emotional plane. Those people are terrified of everything. You know what I mean? They live a whole life in fear. They're in fear of getting around something they don't understand. They're in fear of being confronted of something that they don't understand. And what that leads to, a lot of those people will react in a way. Those are the type of like super aggressive men that you see. People who have this type of who will respond to their emotions in that way are oftentimes the most scared because they don't have the ability to process what it is. So and if you have fear in you, here's the thing, man, if you fear nothing, I mean, I can't tell you how many people in this fucking life are walking around scared at all times of losing something. That's what it is. You're scared of losing control. You're scared of losing your wife, your girlfriend, your family. Valid fears, but I mean, people are scared of whatever. And it's like that manifests itself. When people are scared, they're uptight. They start to cinch up, and they're unable to be. You're not loose when you're scared, and when you're fearful of whatever. I'm not talking like being scared of the dark or being scared of spiders. I'm talking about being scared of losing something or being scared of having something happen. Those people don't have an understanding. If you're living in fear of losing something or living in fear of something happening that you don't want to happen, and you're going to be holding on so tight, your knuckles are going to be fucking white. And when you're in that state, the only thing that's going to happen is what you think is going to happen, what you're trying so hard to make not happen. It's inevitable. If you walk around all day being so scared of somebody beating you up that you're aggressive and you're trying to be like this, just and it's defensive. People who aren't scared of a fight aren't defensive, man, because they know, dude, fear brings into a situation a tenseness. You can tell people walking around, man. This is, as I get older, a lot of the people that when I was younger, I would have thought that they were like a tough guy or they were someone who had some sort of, like, I don't know, the hyper masculine type, always coming at, trying to be aggressive and all that type of shit. Those are the most scared people. I don't know what they're scared of. I'm not saying they're scared to get beat up or get in a fight, but they're scared of something, because you don't walk around acting like that without a little bit of fucking fear in your gut 24 hours of the day. And here's the problem with that is, man, it's like, man, fear really is a useless emotion. Because it's, in some contexts, it makes sense, right? Like if you're like getting chased by a lion or like the natural instinct of that. But it's like, man, if you can't stop everything from happening in life, things aren't necessarily always going to go the way that you want them to. You can't prevent everything from happening. You can't prevent life from happening. Like whatever I promise you, man, whatever you fear most, whatever it is that you are scared of, or you're running from, or you're trying to hold on so that doesn't happen, it's going to happen. It's going to happen even faster if you do that shit, because you're bringing that energy to yourself. But it's like the other piece of that is that like that shit just happens anyways, because life is like that, and life has shitty parts of it and shitty things happen, and there's nothing you can do about that. So that's the point, is the people that are running around trying to control their life to this extent, to this massive extent, their whole personality is built on, that emotion of fear of whatever it is. Those are the people that you'll start to see them in the world. I don't know. Maybe you have to be that person yourself and then turn into it, or you to be able to see it. But it's like, man, it's just so obvious now. At this point, it's just so obvious. Because people are everybody's going through something, man. Everybody has a story to tell. It's like, who knows what people have done? Who knows what people have been through? You never have any idea. Which is interesting, but I mean, it's good to know, right? But it's like a fool will try to control the world because it's impossible. It's the same principle, man. It's the same principle. You can't walk around trying to make things how you want them to be, because that's not how the world works. The world doesn't do what you want it to do. And the more that you try to make that happen, the more it's gonna not. Anybody that's fucking been through that shit knows that. I don't know how else to learn it if you don't just go through it. Though. That's the thing. That's the point of it, where it's like, well, there's just a part of that where it's like you're never gonna really understand. Maybe there's a piece of life where it's like if you haven't touched a piece of grass yourself, you'll never really understand what someone else is standing on. But I mean, the principle still holds. Is like if you take an approach to other people where it's like you're trying to have an understanding of who they are and what they've been through. Well, I mean, whether or not it's through the lens of your own experience, I think it's the most informative if it's through a lens, if it's through something that you've experienced yourself. Then you're going to have a better understanding of who people are. But even just being open to the idea that other people are living a life that you have no fucking idea what it's about. I mean, but you watch people, dude. You watch people for 2 seconds, you figure out what they're about. You watch someone for fucking 2 seconds, you're gonna figure out exactly what the fuck they're about. And then a lot of people are up to no good, dude. A lot of people are doing shit because here's the other thing about fear is it leads to behavior that isn't necessarily good. Scared people do stupid shit, man. So people that are, you don't want to, if you're in the army and you do not want a scared person in your platoon, they're unpredictable, they're emotional. That's what I think it is, dude. It's like if you are scared, you are more likely to act off of an impulse, an emotional impulse, right? Like if you are in that state, it's less likely that you're going to be able to respond to your surroundings and environment instead of just reacting off of that emotional impetus. So, yeah, man, that's the thing about it is like you just don't know what people are going through. And you don't. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, dude, you can't be running around scared of shit. You can't be running around scared of shit. You can't be running around trying to control shit. Those are the two big things, man, because if you start doing that, you're just going to put yourself in a situation where you're vulnerable. You're vulnerable to the world. And man, no one's ever controlled the world for very long. Right? You got people who've, through history, Genghis Khan, Alexander the Great, Napoleon, these guys did their best to conquer the world. Well, guess what? It don't last, man. Even if you can get a little bit of the world under your control or feel like you did, it's impossible. It's impossible to do because the world isn't yours. You can't control anything. You can maybe for a short amount of time. But dude, there's certain methods that just aren't going to work. There's certain ways of going about things that just aren't going to work. You know? Being able to take that, I think a lot of people just have this idea that that's what they should do is try to control. But again, it comes from fucking fear, dude. Like everybody's running around scared. Everybody's fucking running around scared, man. They're trying to stop the fucking worst thing from happening. That's what it is. That's why everyone's trying to control as much as they can because they're fucking afraid they're going to lose it. You can't be afraid you're going to fucking lose something because you're going to lose it eventually, you fucking idiots. You can't fucking lose. You're going to lose it. That's how life works. That's what I'm trying to figure out, how to get to a point where it's like you're beyond even the conceptualization of those type of. It is a scarcity mindset. If you're so fucking worried and freaked out about a small thing that's you're trying to control, or even if it's like a side piece of your life, like that's one thing, is focusing on some random tangential aspect of your life. If you're feeling out of control of the main portion of your life, that's happened so many times to me with fucking roommates, friends over the years. This dude, people will, if people are not feeling good about their life, they do everything except for actually fix their life. They do everything except for actually fix the thing that is fucking with them. It's hilarious. People don't want to look at their problem. I've said this many times before. People put shit in boxes. People put shit in boxes. They throw them under the bed. They don't want to look at them. And then they go spend their time doing other shit. And it's like, the thing that you should have been doing was in the box that you put under the bed. Go fucking get it out, look at it, and fix the problem. But yeah, dude, I don't know. It's like there's got to be a different way of existing than being so fucking limited. Is everything so fucking limited in our lives that we have to go around trying to control every aspect of the fucking environment? What are we trying to fucking do with that? What are we doing with that? That's the type of shit that I hate. That's what I fucking realize, man. It's people who are fucking doing something just for them. And then I'm a part of it now. I hate people who do that. Where it's like, you're just doing this shit for you, and now I have to be a part of it. Man, I do my best to curate my life so that only the people that I want to be around I'm around. Right? To be honest, for the most part, I could give a fuck about other people. I think what that also means to me is I don't really care. There's been a couple of times in my life where I have gone out of my way to try to, I guess, control people in a way, like be manipulative. Not proud of it, of that period of my life. But it fucking gets you in the end. You will pay for doing that shit because you can't live unrighteously. It's not righteous to do that, to try to control. It's trying to control your environment. It is a form of it. It was more of like ego trips and shit for me, but it's like, dude, people don't, and that's the other thing too. A lot of people are living out of this fucking experience where that's how they live their lives. I think a lot of people are like this, where a lot of people are just trying to control everything in their fucking lives and turn the dials at all times so that they can feel like they're in control of shit. And if they don't feel like they're in control, they start to freak out. They start to fucking get scared and uptight, and that's where they start to be fucking weird. People are fucking weird about that shit, man. Like, those are the type of situation. That's why I fucking hate roommates. That's why I hate living with roommates, because they're so fucking psycho, man. But I think that I'm the odd one out for not being like that. Like, I just don't give a fuck. I just don't give a fuck. I mean, you can see I don't give a fuck about my own fucking environment. But it's like but then there's the other side where people are so fucking obsessed about every aspect. Have you ever lived with a person like that? Living with a person who is obsessed with like keeping everything clean, keeping everything neat. And it's like, I don't mind that. I actually like people who are like that, because it's nice to be around people who have that sort of morality with their space. It's good. But the part of it is, it's like a lot of what those people are doing is it's not that they love cleaning. Those people actually don't care about cleaning. They want to feel like they're in control at all times of everything in their fucking life, because they're so fucking afraid, for whatever reason, if something comes along that makes them not 110% in control of their environment, that something, whatever the fuck it is going to happen. And that's where it is. That's what I don't like. This is what I'm trying to fucking get to, is that people doing shit for them. You're doing something for fucking you. You want this room to be 100% clean at all times. because you want to feel in control of your environment at all times, 110%. Yet they sit here and they claim you're claiming that you want the room to be clean, but no, you just want to be in control 110% of the time of fucking 110% of things. So that's the lie. That's the part of it that I don't like, is that people want to go out of their way. They want me to be involved in their fucking shit. You want to feel like you're more in control of your environment. I don't give a fuck about that. I don't give a fuck that you want to do that. Don't fucking bring me into that shit. That's what I'm saying, is I don't want to do that. But man, people are dishonest. That's the other aspect of it too. People are fundamentally dishonest for the most part. They don't really have an ability to express it. Maybe they don't actually know how they actually feel. That's another problem too, is people don't even know themselves. So people are living a life where they're just, again, they're operating on emotions. I guarantee a lot of those people who are clean freaks in their fucking house, they had some fucking weird thing in childhood where their mom fucking sprayed them with Lysol in the face. I don't know what the fuck might have happened to these people, these fucking freaks that are obsessed with being clean. These fucking people, man. Those people, dude, when I was in college, those type of people, there's something fucking wrong with them. Where you're that obsessed with cleaning a fucking apartment. Like it's a huge part of their life and day for the apartment to be 100% clean at all times. It's insane. It's not right. And it's a piece of the same thing. It's a piece of the same puzzle where these people come through life that for some reason, whatever it is, whatever the fucking infinite complexity of people's, whatever happens in their life that makes them who they are, for some reason, they got to this point where now they are obsessed with controlling their environment. And dude, this goes to fucking the most grand of scales, to the international conflict. This is the human nature. You're afraid of losing what? Control. Why? I can't answer that question for people. I don't fucking know, man. I think for me, I think I'm just less inclined to try to do that. I don't feel like that's something that I deal with, is trying to feel like I'm in control of things at all times. Maybe in certain aspects, like for work or for my business or whatever. But man, I pity those people. Because number one, it's fucking obnoxious. They're going through life being an annoying fucking person. Where you have to have every one of your little fucking needs met. Every little piece of the life that you want to fucking have. Maybe it's spoiled children. Maybe it's spoiled children. Actually, I feel like it's probably the opposite of spoiled children. It's people who didn't have any control over their life when they were young. And now in their adulthood, they're doing whatever they can to make sure that doesn't happen again. I don't know, man. The multitude of different humans on this planet is obnoxious. But a lot of people will boil down to a few, type of things. There's a few different types of people on the planet. And that's definitely a type of person. There's a few different versions of them. This is the same type of person, like the neighbor whose like tree is hanging over your lawn, and they'll come over, or your tree is hanging over their fence, and they'll come and like cut down the tree right along the fence line. It's that type of person. That's an insane person. That's either someone like you really are your space is so important to you that you can't let anybody in it. Like that's like probably something that had somebody that had something really fucked up happen to them in their life. Like they must have been like some sort of crime happened, if you know what I mean. Like people come out of prison like that shit. It's like I feel for the people, man. I feel for these souls on this planet who are doing whatever they're doing to live in these fucking lives. But they gotta know, they should know they're annoying. They should know that they are people who are annoying to deal with. I get it. I understand those perspectives. I understand you. I don't like you because you're annoying. And that's my right. And it's like, but the problem, one of the problems with that is some people are so fucking unaware of their own behavior that they will just actually you're the bad guy. They'll make you the bad guy because you don't want to comply with all of their stupid demands at all times. So I do the best thing. I'm telling you. In summary, the best thing to do with these people is just to fucking leave them alone as much as you can. Just say, okay, buddy, whatever, do whatever you need, because it's someone who's having a problem. It's someone who's having a fucking problem. And they might get emotional. They might get upset. They might get emotional at times. You just say, okay, all right, man. I'm sorry you're going through that. Whatever, if you got a roommate like that, just be like, all right, man, whatever. Just kind of ignore it, actually. That's the thing is like, I think if don't fall into the trap of starting to be like that back. You don't want to yourself turn into that type of person that you don't like. Right? So I think that would be the danger is starting to mirror that behavior on your end. Because when you see that shit, it gives you it's annoying. It's the same type of emotional response. But if you are at a point where you can be responding to those emotions as opposed with flow. People went through trauma use it against everyone else because they don't know how to be soft because they had to fight their life. Yes, whatever you fear. Do some research on it and not be scared anymore. Yeah. Exposure therapy. That's that's one of the things people want to you want to get around things that that you're afraid of. And that's how you fix the fear. So I guess what it would be like for that type of person who's feeling so out of control of their life, that type of person needs to go on like a whitewater rafting tour where all you can do is just fucking sit there, or they need to go up in a spaceship or go skydiving. And they need to be in a situation where they literally have no control at all. And they'll go through it. They'll see that this isn't that bad. You're not going to die if you're not 100% manipulating, controlling your environment at all times. You're not going to die. And then they might get out of that with a little less. I think that goes for people that get upset about people who get road rage, people who get in conflicts with random strangers for no reason. I think those are all certain classes of people who are trying to control their environment so fucking desperately. It's like, man, that sucks. It's also kind of sad. It's like, don't you have anything better to do? But who cares, right? Who gives a fuck? Who gives a fuck about any of it? People look at this video and say, hey, you didn't shower for a week, there's fucking stuff on the floor. Go fuck yourself. You know what? I don't give a fuck about these people. These people and their opinions don't matter. They're irrelevant. So people need to understand in this life, people and their opinions are irrelevant and don't matter. And then that's the thing is you can tell how someone is approaching a situation by the way that they approach it. Like if someone's all fucking uptight and like aggressive and like getting like in your face about something, that person's scared. That person's scared of something, whatever it is, because you try to mask fear with anger or aggression. That's what people do. I think anger is like a response. Like it can be a way to like deal with or process in a moment because it's bored. It's better to be angry than scared, right? Like that's not, you don't want to be running around scared. But that's the thing, is that these people that they are running around scared, they never process the emotions, and they end up in a place where they never deal with that fear. So it's sitting in a substrate underneath. Then they flood in the fucking capacitor with just anger. And now you have this cloud of anger living in a space where it should be fear. The fear is still there underneath. Because you can't, emotions don't just go away, man. You have to actually process it for it to go away. Otherwise, it'll just exist in you for however long. It's like, this is the people who try to mask their fear with anger are still scared. Man, just thinking of all the things that have been done in the course of human history by scared people. Pretty heavy, actually. But it's like, dude, I think a lot of the people who need to hear that message aren't going to hear that message because they're so caught. That's the thing about that. The anger is attractive. Anger is an attractive emotion because you can feel powerful. It's a pretty nice switch to take anger, to take fear, and just swamp it with anger. That's a good feeling. You feel in control. This is the fucking thing. That's the funny part about it, is you actually feel in control when you are doing that. It's an illusion. You're not in control because you're actually just scared. You're so scared of losing control that you could never have control of anything. You'll never ever keep something that you're scared to lose. You'll never, in this life, you will never keep something that you are scared to lose. The minute you get scared to lose it, it's on its way out. Because it's actually on its way out no matter what. That's the key to remember. Whatever it is in your life, whatever it is you're trying so hard to hang on to and hold on to, you're going to lose it because everything goes. And the thing is, the nice thing is, and the saving grace of that, is that as soon as you can accept the fact that you can't keep anything in this life, then you'll be able to keep it for a while. For a while, as soon as you let go, you can have it. That's the point. That's what people say. You got to let go of something to truly have it. Is you have to let go of trying to keep it so tightly. Because when you do that, you're gonna lose it. Because you waste your way. I mean, I said it before. You're wasting the energy that you need to keep it. If you are trying so fucking hard to do anything in this life, you will not have the energy that you need to actually do it, because you're wasting it trying. And that takes a long time to understand, at least for me. Not even just to understand Like that might take 2 or 3 years to really get that if you haven't had that exposure. But like to really understand that, to have something in life, you have to let go of it. But it's hard, man, because the fear is there. Like the fear is legitimate. So how do you replace the fear? Like what do you do to get to the next place where you're beyond living out of a fear? You're not masking it with anger. I mean, I would say in certain aspects of my life, I've been able to do that well. In certain aspects, I haven't. I guess the more important it is to you, the more you're going to try to hold on. And maybe some things just get easier with time. But it is a real phenomenon. Like it's not something that's contrived. Like we do actually want to control our environment. Like we actually do. We want to have some semblance of control over our lives and our environments, and naturally we do. The problem with it is that people overdo it. People don't understand the principle because there is the urge to do that, then there's the reality that you can't do that. So those two things are at odds. You're never going to control the world. Can't. No matter how big or small of a scale you want, you can't control the world. But everybody's going to try. We have an urge to control our environment. We have an urge to control other people at times. We have an urge to control things that we don't, that whatever, for whatever fucking reason, we have an urge to like protect things to an extent. We have an urge to whatever it is. But you can't. You can't actually fully do that eternally. Life has limitations, man. There are limitations that exist. And if you don't understand them, they're going to kill you. That's the point. Is that there is not unlimited runway when it comes to these things. And actually, it can be very limited as far as being able to get where you want to go. Some people get far trying to control shit, but inevitably it comes crashing down on your head. And it's like there has to be a better way to exist on the planet than that. And a lot of the shit that we deal with in this day and age, I think it's some of the worst offenders, things that exist in society are post-enlightenment human beings trying to battle against our nature, our animalistic, limbic nature. We are not just a conscious being. We are a whole host of systems coalescing to become what we would call a self or whatever we are. I forgot what I was saying. It'll come back to me. But yeah, that's right. So we're in a situation where we have an understanding of how the world works. Some of it is at odds with our nature. So this is the last 200, 300 years, a lot of what's been going on. I think socially, a lot of the change, a lot of whatever has been due to the fact that we are now in our greater understanding of the universe and the rules and the laws that run the place. A lot of our nature as humans doesn't actually fit that well in that context. So if you're living a life where you are solely acting out of And that's what that goes back to the same shit. The low level, again, the limbic system, those signals that are coming from those aspects of our nervous system, that's the emotional state. The emotional state is the animalistic state. The emotional state is what we run on when the brain's turned off. Whatever the side, right or left side of the brain, I can't remember. That's like in charge of modulating that. And it's like that, those aspects of our behavior are at odds with the conscious. But the conscious acts, the understanding, the learning, the intention to be a certain way. Right? We intentionally try to do things outside of that lower level system, the limbic system, which is just reacting, responding to the emotional signals, and moving along. Like there's these two pieces of our brain and our whole system that are fighting. They're kind of fighting against each other. So as we try to modulate this behavior, as we try to become a little bit more evolved as a species, we're getting into these problems where we're not quite there, and maybe we might not ever get there. But it's like a lot of people are just stuck in this place where it's like, if you're not able to transcend, there has to be a modicum of transcendence. For me personally, if to be around someone, if they don't have control over their behavior to the extent where they're aware of what they're doing, you're not even worth my time. Like if you don't have like a certain percentage of yourself figured out, man, people are living a lie. A lot of people are living a lie. They don't even know the first thing about themselves, and they're just going through fucking life. They're doing whatever. And it's like those are the type of people. Those are the people, the roommates who are obsessed with cleaning the room, but they don't know that they're just a control freak. That type of shit. I don't know, man. People don't want to hear that shit either. You go around and try to give people that type of advice directly. People got to figure that shit out for themselves. But as I'm saying, a lot of people are never going to get there. And so like for me, I'm living in a world, where it's like, how many other people are actually going to be able to understand that? Because you get tired of it. You get tired of people just operating off of the stupidest parts of humanity, the dumbest, our least evolved behaviors. And it's like, do whatever you want, but don't bring me into your shit. Don't bring me into your stupid shit, man. And that goes for me too. Like I gotta not bring other people into my shit. I make an effort not to do that. I go out of my way now not to do that, but that's only been after going through periods where I didn't know what I was doing. It's the unawareness, dude. That's the part of it. People want to try to prove themselves. I get it. Like young kids, like are doing a lot of shit. They're doing whatever. Like they're not evolved. Their brains aren't fully formed. Whatever the fuck it is. Be that as it may, there's a certain part that I require in a person to be able to do. Like if you can't take a step of fucking self-reflection, inevitably we're going to run into a situation where, man, people are just, it gets too much to deal with the self-interest, which everyone is, right? Everyone's selfish and self-interested. But my problem is, as I said, it's if it's at the expense of someone else, that's when it's like, okay, it just gets old, man. I wouldn't mind it if people were honest. That's the point. I wouldn't mind if people were actually came up to me like, I'm feeling out of control right now. I need to do this. I need to do this for myself so I can feel in control. And then at least you can be like, all right, well, this person's having a fucking weird day. This person's a fucking freak. Either one doesn't matter. At least you're operating with this understanding that, you know, people are honestly expressing their problems, as opposed to just some sort of farcical. But then again, it's like I can just be glad that I'm not that person. I'm not the type of person stuck in a life where I'm trying to fucking grasp control out of a fucking, a traffic stop. You don't want to have someone in front of you on the highway driving too slowly. You don't want someone behind you on the highway trying to pass you. There's just fucking psychopaths out there. You don't know what people are like. You don't know what people are like, man. People will show their colors. Eventually. So, I guess you live and learn. I guess it is just a piece of life. I was thinking earlier to myself, it's like I almost would rather just go through life. Like I kind of want to be done learning. I don't want to I'm kind of uninterested in like more self-actualization. I'm almost uninterested in it. But then it's like situations like this type of thing. It's like, man, it actually is beneficial. But I'm telling you, man, this knowledge comes at a price. You don't get this for free. Nobody can tell you it. You have to pay. And it ain't fun. It ain't fun to try to understand. It ain't fun to go through what you got to go through to understand the world. Because nobody tells you that. You can't learn it out of a textbook. You can't learn it out of a fucking schoolhouse, whatever. I don't know, dude. There's just something about other people and their fucking lies. For me, it's the dishonesty. Almost exclusively that bothers me. It's the lack of forthrightness. It's the lack of ability to express yourself. It's the lack of ability to understand yourself. And now I'm in a position where I have to try to understand it. I have to be the one out of both of us to understand you. That's the part of it that I get in a situation where I'm just like, okay. You get tired of it, man. You get tired of it. It's like these people are fucking. Who knows? Who knows who they are? Who knows what the fuck they're doing? You never have any clue, man. People and some, dude. You might catch someone on the wrong fucking day too. You might catch someone at the wrong fucking time. And this is the day they brought the knife. This is the day they brought the gun. It's like, dude, people aren't doing well. And it's always better to play. It's always better to play a situation as it comes up. I don't know. You'll go through life. I think that you gotta understand you're going to go through life, and I guess everyone's different. Maybe you might pick up certain skills along the way. You might not. You might. Some people come out and they turn 18 and they don't ever really change. That's kind of it. And it's like, which one would you rather be? Because as I said, there is a price to learn, and that actually makes sense now to think about it. Because there is a fucking price to pay for learning about yourself, and why would someone want to pay that? I would never intentionally go through it. A lot of that shit is just getting smacked in the face by life because you were too arrogant. You'll pay. I guess maybe some people don't, or like, how do they learn? So, I don't know. It's all a pain in the ass, though. I will say that. exclusively, I can say that is other people are some of the most, they're the most annoying people that you'll ever fucking deal with. Other human beings. They're the most annoying creatures on the planet. By far. By far. And you got to accept it, I guess. You got to just say to yourself, hey, this shit is, we're dealing with a lunatic. We're dealing with someone who doesn't have all of their. That's what you kind of have to go. You got to go around like that. It's like I might be dealing with someone who isn't fully there cognitively. That's the fact, dude. You never know. You never know. So yeah, dude, I just think a lot of it, as I process that here, a lot of it is just looking at situations and trying to understand why. For whatever you get out of it, there's always a benefit. But yeah, man, people are just, you know what it is about people? People seem to have this level, and not everyone, but it's just, and I guess it's just being in America. This is our country. People are just selfish, dude. People are just selfish people. People want to do people want to do what they want. People want to get what they want. People want to go out of their, like, you think you would try to go out of your way to kind of keep things, but that's the thing. You're not, people aren't thinking. People are reacting off of emotions in those situations. But it's so interesting, like consciously to try to understand. What if the consciousness was all just a fucking joke? It was just some random offshoot of the chaos of the universe, and I'm just having this conversation for no reason at all. And I should just be trying to control as much of my environment as possible. And it's my mistake. And like trying to learn about yourself is a mistake. Actually, you should just be as baseline animalistic human as possible. Well, maybe. I don't know, man. I guess I think there's a lot of people who would hear what I have to say, and they wouldn't even listen. They would be tuned out after the first couple words. And dude, I think a lot of people are just kind of stupid. That's another thing about it. Is because there's some people that are just kind of fucking dumb. So it's like you're never really going to be able to understand. Like, you're never really going to be able to get a conceptualization of that person because they're never going to be able to come to a spot where they understand themselves. All that shit, man. Oh, well, But you know, all those situations in life, they give you an opportunity. This is where I'll hold it as true. All these situations in life come to you for some sort of purpose. I have experienced that in my life. I'll say I've experienced that in my life, and so there's peace. There's peace in that as well. I think people will learn too. I mean, the control shit is the funniest though. Because those people are so fucking. They are like, dude. Some people, man, they're just so fucking caught up in their behavioral patterns. If they can't do whatever they fucking want, they freak out. If they don't have things their way at all times, they fucking flip out. These are these type of people, man. And it's like they're everywhere. They're everywhere. I guess the closer you like, the more of a like sustained relationship you have to have with someone. Not even sustained, but just like if you don't ever have to deal with someone again, right? Or if it doesn't really matter what they do to the extent of whatever, and just ignore them. I mean, that's what a lot of the shit is, man. It's just being able to fucking actually rectify and put into place the response protocol, like what's important, right? Like what's actually important. Well, it becomes not controlling if what's important to you is controlling every fucking aspect of your environment at all times, then that's what's going to be important to you. If it was important to, so I got to figure out then what's important to me, because I ain't interested in that. You know what I mean? Like, then what am I actually trying to get? Dude, I'm just focused on myself, bro. I don't give a fuck about other people. Unless someone's really bothering me, I'm not going out of my way to fucking talk to them because that ain't a part of what I'm about. I'm about my shit. I'm about dealing with my shit. I ain't focused on these external things. I'm not focused on these side quests that are distracting me from from what I should be doing in my life. I have been in the past. Promise. Well, mean, at least I'm not lying to myself about what is important. It's not to say I do things perfectly, not even close. Maybe I do it in a different way. Maybe I do it in just internally in my own head, in my mental space, as opposed to actually like walking around the world and fucking just like the obsessive, whatever. The anger, that's the same shit. I really learn a lot doing this shit, I swear.